Intertalk Radio. You're in to all things music.
Welcome to Music Gear Talk. Discover the tech that inspires the pros and powers today's music industry.
It's a fun Thursday on Music Gear Talk, powered by the mighty Intertalk Media. Connect to all things music here at Intertalk Media. My name is Florentino, and I am your host today. And as always, we've got a very, very cool company that has, kind of a revolutionary product. It's kind of like if Dave Smith met, the companies that make toys. I couldn't think of the name of the companies, but basically it's kind of a powerful synthesizer, and it is also a musical instrument that children can use. And we have Troy here from Blipbox. How you doing, Troy?
Good. Yeah, great to be here.
Definitely glad to have you on. So Troy, let's just jump right into it, man. How did you, come up with this idea for the Blipblox, and, what are the, obviously, I'm looking at the website here, and by the way, folks, that is a Blipblox, BLIPBLOX.com. So if you can, if you're listening and you got a computer in front of you, check it out. If not, you can check it out later on. But tell us about how you got started with this.
Sure. I've been into synthesizers and electronic music for quite a long time. Pretty much since I was a teenager, I've enjoyed electronic music, and especially synthesizers. I've always been into synthesis. And for many years, I've had this idea bouncing around of taking really the most fun parts of synthesis and basically extracting those and sort of distilling those and putting them into a child-friendly product. So about 4 years, I started to get really serious about it, playing with some different software and different processors and everything. And I just kept taking step after step. And now today we're on the verge of releasing this product. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, how did you guys do a Kickstarter? How did you guys put it all together to come up with the foundation to build the product?
Yeah, so far we've been self-funded. So as far as we've funded the product on our own, and as we move forward to our release of the product in spring here, we're still exploring some options of exactly how we're going to release it. We'll either do pre-sales, and we haven't ruled out the crowdfunding campaign. So we're still looking at exactly how we're going to get the first units into the hands of our most enthusiastic supporters.
Now, I guess my question for you is, do you think really it's going to be kids? I just see a bunch of adults getting it for their office.
Yeah, we've always had that in mind. So I think it is certainly a child-friendly product, and certainly it is built with kids in mind. But as you know, it does have some advanced features. So really, I'm hoping that everyone can enjoy this. It's really, anyone that's interested in synthesis and can basically jump in, with a relatively low cost, price point and get started and just having fun with this.
Awesome. I've had my coffee now. I can better describe it. So, folks, if you can imagine a Oberheim. If any of those folks remember an Oberheim, or even like a Prophet 5, because this is definitely an analog synth. You mix that with a little bit of 808, and then you throw in a design by Mattel, and that's what you got. Because you kind of got a little bit of the 808 configuration with the buttons. It definitely has, with the knobs and the bright colors. Definitely screams out Mattel, but it's so fun, man. This is awesome. So tell us, let's kind of jump into the nuts and bolts of it. What are the VCS, VCAs, what is the circuitry in there?
Sure. I mean, one of the first things you notice about this is that there is no keyboard. So unlike almost all other children's music toys on the market, there is no keyboard to play notes. So that was really one of the first things we wanted to do. We wanted the focus to be on tweaking the sound and basically having fun with the synthesis and not worrying too much about the notes or the melodies. So it has a built-in sequencer. There are hundreds of sequences and basically melodies built into it. So it is sort of always playing notes and different sequences for you. So it has a little bit of a mind of its own. It's always going through different patterns. It plays some drums also. So it basically lays down a foundation for you, and it allows you to focus on playing with the oscillators, playing with the LFOs, all the different modulations. So that's really one of the main design points we went through. Is basically it does a lot of the work for you. You focus on having fun with the synthesis.
Gotcha. I was telling you about I had a Casio that this somewhat reminds me of, and I thought this is my first synthesizer. It was a Casio. I had to look it up, VL Tone, and I just was like, it had, you had your, attack, decay, release, sustain on it, and a couple of little things. And I thought I was like, changing the world with that. I'm not going to make these great electronic songs. This was back in like 80, 81. And it kind of just brought me back, man. This is awesome. And so, I'm looking at and I watched a few of the videos, and as you're making sounds, it's interesting. How does somebody, how do you teach somebody how to use this? Because obviously it's not, they're basically a bunch of different knobs, different buttons, and different things. There isn't anything that fully describes it, but there is a pattern chain that you have that goes through these different. I'm assuming each one of those kind of goes to that particular effect. What is it? What's the learning process? What learning curve on this?
Sure. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to best take the sort of the complexity of synthesis and represent it and package it in this sort of child-friendly way. And, a lot of people have commented, well, nothing is labeled, and that is true. Yeah. So there's no text, there's no description of what's going on except for the signal flow arrows. And someone described it as sort of it looks like a shoot some ladders or something. So you basically these arrows sort of swoop around, and that's basically we decided, as we started thinking about, what should we label this? Should we put some sort of indication down? It started to clutter sort of this nice simplicity that we had with just the arrows. So it does look, I like to think of it as something that could have dropped, out of a spaceship. It could have landed on Earth from a spaceship or something. Yeah. So there is certainly some mystery to it as far as when you first look at it, you're like, what do all these things do? So, but it is laid out so basically you don't have to really know what's going on exactly to have fun with it. As soon as you turn it on, it starts making the sounds. You start twisting the knobs, pressing the buttons, and it's making fun sounds, and you're basically off to the races having fun with it.
My partner in crime here was definitely Paul. He was looking at it. He's like, "Oh man, I could make some EDM on this." Yeah. So you were Paul was going to chime in here. You were looking at it, Paul.
I was picturing, how I don't know if that goes on anymore, but back in the day, ravers would hang out, put pacifiers in their rats and stuff. So I picture the DJ is playing this thing and everyone's got pacifiers and it's like this whole infantile thing.
But it is. So I get it. I get that kids aren't going to, the kids, and we're talking about probably, toddler ages on up. Obviously there's professional. So folks, I got to qualify. There's some really heavyweight professional features in this instrument, but I can see how it's like, again, if when I first started doing keyboards and keyboard work, this was back in the 80s, and we had Overheim, we had Profits, Roland obviously was a big one, and then Yamaha stepped in and changed the dynamic with digital. But up to that point, we were doing all these different things, and it was actually very difficult to get sounds out of it. And so I think this is really cool that it's revolutionary, that it has all those dynamics, but you can come in there and you can basically start making sounds. And kids like on a piano will just start plunking away. They're not trying to put some type of pattern or system to the whole thing at first. They're just having fun with it. They just love the sound. So I think you hit the nail on the head with this. And was that the thought process?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we do have a comprehensive manual. So when you are ready to dig in and understand exactly what's happening, we do, everything is well documented. We spent a lot of time, we call it a learning toolbox. So when you're ready to dig in, we want to learn more about what's going on there. Yeah. We provide all those resources.
And Troy, now, are you a performing musician, or is this only thing you do?
I have been. I've enjoyed electronic music for many years, as I was saying. So I have produced some tracks. I work with another friend. We've done some live shows. We've produced some albums, and this is. Like a lot of electronic musicians, we have a lot of fun with it. We have we play at some small parties. We get some tracks out there, but there are tens of thousands of electronic musicians like us out there. So we really have fun with it. So we never really took it to the point where we go out and really start seriously promoting ourselves or anything. So we just have a lot of fun. It's basically a hobby for us. Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever done like a gig completely with one of these? I can see that happening. It's got a drum machine. Yeah. It's got pretty much everything. You've got sequencers you can kind of chain together.
We have not yet, but we're getting a lot of interest. When we were at NAMM, we got a lot of great comments. One person came up and he had some friends. And he thought, well, we should just get 4 of these. Each one of us could just have a Blipblox, and that could be our show. So I thought that was pretty funny. I could see that. But we have had a bunch of producers. We have a lot of people that are interested, and certainly right now there's a great novelty to it. But I think I'm hoping to see it out there with the with the LEDs, the colors, the sound. Definitely should be a good addition to a live show.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost like the probably not necessarily from a technological level, but I don't know if have you seen not trying to give a shout out to other companies, but the teenage engineering stuff. It just kind of reminds me of, it's like the precursor to that. It's these like circuit bending type of technologies that have come out and late that have really kind of inspired just a unique way of looking at music. And that's kind of where I feel that this is, at least from everything, I haven't had a chance to physically touch it, but from everything I've been seeing and hearing, I kind of see that's the case. So, what's your thoughts on that? This kind of new generation of, we got 30 seconds left here. I almost jumped into a big, deep conversation. Before we're going to be going into the first commercial break, and if you can just give us your social media stuff so people can find you guys that way, and then we'll come back and talk about the idea that I was going to talk about after.
Yeah, sure. We're on Facebook, and we have you just search for Blipblox. You will find us really quickly. Blipbox.com. Instagram, Twitter. It's really easy to find that. So we're out there on all that.
Yeah. There you go, folks. You got to check this out, everybody. This, if you haven't already seen it, which I have to say, this was unique to me. We did a reach out to a number of companies that were at NAMM, and you guys responded back for some interviews, and we're going to talk about what that experience was at NAMM and how this new sound is coming out with these synthesizers. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Welcome to Music Gear Talk. Discover the tech that inspires the pros and powers today's music industry.
All right, it's the second segment of Music Gear Talk, powered by Intertalk Media Network, and we just want you to connect to all things music here. My name is Florentino. I've got my partner in crime, Paul Berezetsky, here manning the boards, as well as the awesome Troy Sheets from Blipbox. Before we jump right back into it, obviously I have to pay some bills here, and I want to let you guys know a little bit about our sponsors. We have Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com. Pitbull Audio is this great music store. Basically started off just a couple of music friends that wanted to do something in the world of music, and they had some cool ideas on actually taking care of the musicians. Wow, that's what a concept, right, Paul? It was it's definitely something that was pretty revolutionary. You get all your gear over there, right, Paul?
At this point, yeah. I haven't been to another store in a long time.
I know, we haven't even stepped foot in any of the other...
Can't say I miss it.
No. So, they're down in National City, but probably everybody knows them online. They've got a huge Amazon store as well as eBay. But you can always go to Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com. And then our good friends over at SIR at sir-usa.com. This is where all the high-end pros go for their backline, for their front of house. They've been taking care of tours since the 70s, and even for businesses that are looking for a way to have some sound or lighting for their events. This is the place to go. sir-usa.com. And with that said, we're going to jump back into it here, Troy. So last time we were talking about this new emerging market of circuit bending music instruments. I want to say synthesizers, but it's kind of a little bit even more than that. So, do you see this this market flourishing, and how did that dynamic translate into your experiences at NAMM?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this goes back to some of the original plastic music boxes, like the TB303, the 808. These were devices really ahead of their time, and just small, inexpensive plastic boxes, but that are I've always thought of them sort of as toys, because I think a lot of people, can grab a 303 or an 808, and you see how Roland's re-releasing these. They're just a lot of fun. And
I have a 606. I still have my Roland 606.
Yeah. And so, my idea here was let's go all in on the fun, because a lot of people will buy these synthesizers. I'm guilty of this, and like a Korg, Volca, some of those small boxes, and they're really fun to play with, but you might never actually dive into the sequencer and actually start sequencing your own things. You just turn it on, you're having so much fun just hearing what the filter cutoff sounds like. So so that was really a big inspiration for me. Like let's go for a plastic music box this 100% focused on just having fun. So that was really sort of the direction I took there.
Well, that definitely is the case. Like I said, you guys got to see what it looks like. Really, it's like making music with a Mattel device, because of the knobs. The things that you would think of with a kid. You pull down a knob, you twist something, but it makes real high end sounds. In fact, I want to jump back into the NAMM experience, but one of the things I was just thinking, because it has MIDI capability, so you can plug in any of your keyboards. You can plug it into your DAW. I would imagine, you can have it work with any type of professional, MIDI setup. Question for you: is there a companion software that allows you to tweak the tones? Some type of interface.
Yeah. So we had to draw the line somewhere as far as where we would. How much control you'd have externally. And that line was basically drawn at MIDI input. So basically the MIDI note in, and also MIDI sync. So you can send the notes into it. It can play the notes for you. And you can also synchronize it to a drum machine or any other device that sends a MIDI time code. Okay. So the idea was, with the built-in sequences, I didn't want the whole device to be limited to the built-in sequences that comes with it. So I knew I had to basically have an expansion beyond just those internal sequences, and the MIDI input allows that. So that was really the thought there. Okay. Very cool.
And, so we reached out to you because you were at NAMM and wanted to get a post-NAMM update. How, with this burgeoning, like I said, circuit bending, collection of new, innovative, funsy synthesizers, I guess, because it's really about the crazy tones that you can get out of it. You're not going to go there and try to, for those folks that think this is going to be, something you can use for a piano sound or, some type of horn or any realistic sound. This is definitely not the case. It's something where you're gonna make your own type of sound and develop it. What was the experience like for you guys at NAMM?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, NAMM was just incredible. I mean, it was actually the first time I'd been to NAMM, so that was very fun.
Sensory overload.
Yeah, it was. But just the feedback and response we got was really great. We had a great time, and we had a great position. We got into NAMM early as far as getting our booth reserved. So we got right where we wanted to be, right with all the other modular synthesizers. Oh, so cool. We were right in the middle of all just the most fun, modular and crazy synthesizers there. And at first I think a lot of people were, I don't want to say attitude, but I think it took a little while. Some people, I think, looked at our booth and really thought that, what's this toy doing here in the middle of a
I could see how people would start with that idea in mind, but it definitely is more than that for sure.
Yeah, once people came over and started playing with it, I think they realized that there was more going on with it than just the toy. So that was a lot of fun.
And that's kind of an interesting thing, because we all got into playing music for the fun of it. At some point, instruments become tools, and they lose a little bit of the luster of enjoyment. It's work, and I think with this particular instrument that you've developed, it says, hey, let's have some fun. Let's bring back the joy, what we knew when we first started. Like you said, you seen that guitar and you're 4 or 5 years old and you pull that string and you're like, oh my gosh, I just made a sound. That kind of experience. And I, with everything that I've seen from the videos, that's what you get, because you don't know what you're going to get until you twist a knob. You don't know what you're going to get until you pull down one of the the T-bars on it, which I get a kick out of it. Is, either A, you're going to be making music, or B, you're going to control a crane, or C, you're flying something. So one of those three things is going on here. So it's very cool. Now, were you taking orders at NAMM this year? I know you, like you said, you're in development, but were there pre-orders, or how did that experience work out when dealing with the retailers? And what was their thoughts? Yeah, so right now we're just collecting email addresses. So we want to get everyone who's interested. We're getting their email addresses, and it's fun, but we're right in the middle of a market, and it's as far as a toy market or a music market. Okay. So, do we belong in a toy store or a music store? So we're still sort of working through that. I think a lot of the boutique music stores will be interested in this. So at this point, we're going to start probably with direct sales. Just to begin with, but then we will certainly be looking at distributors to get them into retail stores, especially as we look internationally. Japan, there were several distributors from Japan who were really, really interested in this. The Japanese were extremely excited about this product. I definitely can see that. Because this is going to be right in line with that. Now, not to bring up another market here, but I mean, I started seeing this market kind of break through with the teenage engineering stuff, and they, like I said, they patented this stuff, their keyboard, after their the VL1, the Casio. Did you guys have any keyboards that you kind of thought you wanted to kind of bring some of those characteristics into this particular? I mean, obviously it's not a keyboard because it's it's knobs and dials and T-bars and stuff like that. But did you have anything in mind that you were you wanted to kind of target? Again, going back to like the 303, I think that was really sort of the inspiration for this. Is just a plastic box. What I really wanted to do though was create a wider range of sound. So a lot of the existing synthesizers out there, they sound good. They have a nice sound to them. Troy, I hate to interrupt you, man. Dude, I'm not. Thank you, folks, for listening in, and we'll have more later.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be the music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?